How's it going, big shavers? Josh back at you with another video. Today it's going to be the menthol challenge, and as a sort of tribute to John McLennan, I'm also going to be using 3 different razors for 3 different passes. Menthol challenge, let's start with the brass tacks. I'm going to be starting off with a Cornhuskers lotion mixed with peppermint essential oils, and because I'm OCD, I label everything CHL skin food. It says skin food because it's supposed to be like Trumper's skin food, but much cheaper. So this is going to be the bookend for the shave, pre and post. Now, I'm trying out a couple new things to do. The first one, another shout out, is to Mama Bear, who has recently joined TBS, and I got her Mama Bear's Bear Ice and used that with some Palmolive menthol to make an Uber lather. Look at this. It's just ridiculous. So that is a double shot of menthol. And I'm just going to get going, and then we'll start talking about some. That is a double shot of menthol. And I'm just going to get going, and then we'll start talking about some razors that I'll use. The other purpose of this video is once again to showcase another razor that I received from Bruce Weber this week. Michael Smith on the forum said the other day that he was my sugar daddy. I dispute that title. I think he's more like a drug dealer, an enabler, a benevolent drug dealer, a legal drug dealer, but more like my producer, because he sends me razors and it makes me want to shave on camera. So I'm going to use a Schick Injector. Never used one before, seen a bunch of videos on them, and they look really cool. So first pass is going to be this guy, the Muhle R41. Second pass is going to be the Schick Injector. Pretty cool looking little piece right here. Great condition. And then the old standby, 37c, Merkur 37c slant. You can see that slant right there. So that's how I'm going to roll today. I can already feel the menthol on my face immediately upon using the Mama Bear soap just in the bowl to lather up the soap portion of it prior to the cream. This stuff lathers so easily. Better than any other glycerin soap I've used. I don't like the Colonel Conk stuff. I've never been a fan of glycerin, but I gave it a shot and I'm glad I did. But I can feel it on my face. So let's talk about this R41. As I mentioned on the forum the other day, the R is for respect because this is an aggressive razor, but it's one of the first razors I learned about on TBS, and I'm glad I did because it's a beast. Now, some people have referred to this as an open comb razor. I don't know that that's the case. So this is the R41, and if you look closely, those look more like teeth than they look like open combs. Now compare it to a much more open comby looking fat tip grande, and I think you can tell the difference. They're both very aggressive in their own right. Muhle is, or the Muhle, the R41 is, it's clearly a fine piece of German engineering. It's a 3-piece razor. It fits together well. The chrome finish is gorgeous, and it's extremely sharp. I've got a feather in here, and if there's anything I can offer on this, is that, first of all, it's a great razor if you've got a little bit of growth on your face and you want an efficient, close shave. use no pressure. You don't need it. Whether it's because the blade exposure or the angle or how close the blade is to the end of the combs, this thing just mows through. It's been referred to as a rake. What I think it's like is a shave tutor. You have to know your fundamentals to be able to shave comfortably with this. Use a light touch. Try not to go over the same spot multiple passes. Remembering that the key is reduction, not elimination. And specific to this and other very aggressive open comb or open comb like razors, keep a very shallow angle, keeping the handle close to your face. And if you respect the R41, it will provide you with a closer first pass than pretty much any other razor I've used. So I'm going to shut up and finish this first pass. I don't recommend this blade, this razor for new wet shavers. I believe that you can make a little bit of hamburger out of your face. But once you get the hang of it, you won't find a razor that is as close and comfortable as this guy. Or at least I haven't. It takes a little getting used to the kind of rakish feel of it. Okay. I like this guy a lot. I don't know if you can tell. But it's a polarizing razor. Either you like it or you hate it. Plenty of people in the forum say it's their go-to, and just as many people say that they've gotten it, used it a couple times, and sold it. I would say be patient with it, because you really, oh, there's that menthol again. You really have to master the angle before you can really get the benefit of it. If you haven't tried it, try to borrow one from somebody. You will not be disappointed. Mama Bear, I'm going to get some more of this shaving cream of yours after I plow through this bare ice. I also got the Aqua de Jo brand, which I actually really like the smell of that cologne, as does my wife, which is the important thing. Huge amounts of lather. Okay, so next pass is the Schick Injector. They started making these things back in 1935, obviously by Colonel Schick, the guy who started the company. This is the first time I've ever used it. It's almost amazing how light a touch it has. They're still making the Schick Injector today. Wow, it almost doesn't feel like it's taking anything off. It's got a fair amount of blade exposure there, but you can't feel it on your face. Maybe it's because it's numb from the menthol. But you can hear the feedback. It's really taking off the hair. Bruce, thank you for this. I really like it. If I could figure out how to change the blade in this, I'd actually use it more frequently. So, there have been at least 4 parent companies. Schick sold his share they started making these things in '35, which was well after Schick sold his parent company. And today they make the injector, The injector is made by Pfizer, of all companies, which I believe also makes Wilkinson's sword. David Marshburn also received one of these this week. It may have been from Mr. Weber, Mr. Bruce Weber, Bruce Wayne. He didn't have a good experience with it. I'm sorry that that's the case, but I really like it. It's so gentle. Pretty efficient. So as you can tell, I did a little bit of research on this guy. And I think this is probably either a Type E, which is from 35 to 45, or a Type G, which is from 46 to 55. But no matter how you cut it, this thing is remarkably effective as a razor. All these years later, let's see, it's either anywhere from 58 to 78 years old. I was told there'd be no math. One thing that's kind of a downside to this is that it's only one side blade, so you have to swish it more often, but I don't mind. I cartridge shaved for 20 plus years. David Marshburn, I think you should check out what blade you're using. I'm not entirely sure which one this is, but that was a fantastic first go with this razor. And John McLennan, I didn't think I'd like using multiple razors, but it's kind of fun. You know, every razor is different. Every razor does something a little differently. And every razor has its own angle, so I wasn't sure how much I'd like changing mid-stride. Menthol. Love it. So, the next razor is my ace. The number one in my rotation. It gets a lot of love from most people. It's extremely friendly and flattering to most blades. I've used a Derby in there, I've used a Merkur in there, and although you probably only get one shave out of those razors, it seems to be a magic razor. And at the moment, it's at the bottom of my sink. It's the Merkur 37c slant, and if you look at it closely, you can see one edge of the blade is slightly longer than the other edge. So what that does is creates a slicing motion as opposed to just raking it across your face. It kind of slices as it rakes across your face. Very efficient, but most of all, extremely comfortable. You can see it has a scalloped guard on it, not open comb, but there's also these little teeth inside of the guard that do a good job of pushing the shaving cream away from your face. So I'm going to use this one for my closer position, do against the grain. I mean, you can almost not feel anything at all, and I'm using my favorite blades, feather blades, which are reputed to be very, very sharp, so you can't even feel it. Unlike the R41, I don't care if you've been wet shaving for 3 years, or if you've been wet shaving for 3 days, you can use this razor. It's a Saturday. Usually I would take a day off. But tonight we have a formal army event thing. And I'll be wearing my dress blues. So so I want to look sharp. All of that is to say that I'm going to shave more aggressively on my neck than I usually do. I've had a little bit of irritation this week because I've been experimenting with these open combs. It was well worth it though, because I really think it adds another tool to a wet shaver's toolbox to have those in your stable of razors. They just do it very efficiently. I highly recommend them if you like to refrain from shaving all weekend. Maybe you just want to eliminate as much on that first pass as possible to keep the number of passes you actually have to do that morning, on a Monday morning, when the last thing you want to be doing is spending 30 minutes shaving. Just whip out that R41 or a Fat Tip Grande or a Merkur 1904. Okay. When you wipe the cream off your face, you still have, it's still slippery, which is a testament to that shaving soap. And, okay, so what I'm going to do now is do a little feeling around, maybe clean up my chin a little bit. Maybe do a little bit more on my neck. But I want to use this guy again. Just slides right across. I'd be interested to know what blades you guys recommend for this guy. So if you wouldn't mind chiming in, let me know what you think and where I can get them. Because I can tell you now, it's going to become one of my favorites. It's a little light, which takes some getting used to, especially as heavy as something like the slant is. But nice shave. So I'm going to do some alum. This is Osma alum. Definitely getting some feedback. I went hard on my neck. Great shave though. And as most of you guys know, I am a huge fan of the do-it-yourself 10 skin. See, there I go labeling again. I'm kind of a bob bag that way. Happy to hear that, Jack Houston, you had a good experience with this stuff. Burns a little bit, but I find if you use it every day, you have fewer, much less irritation. Okay, so I'm just gonna lightly dab my face, continue with the menthol challenge. Got that menthol skin food. If you don't have corn huskers, really recommend you buy it. It's fantastic. It feels great. Has a little bit of a weird smell, but when you add the essential oils, especially peppermint, it takes care of that real quick. And the piece de resistance, Osage Rub. Now, it's smells like Vicks Vapor Rub, and it burns, but it feels like somebody's rubbing ice cubes all over your face. Oh, especially when your pores are open. And it's got an overpowering scent at the beginning, but when it dries, it has a very nice powdery scent, sort of like baby powder. Oh, but the menthol, wow. So in terms of menthol, Osage Rub is the king. And if you're going to do the menthol challenge, I don't think it's complete without it. But Mama Bear, I love you, and I cannot wait to use this many, many more times. Quick lathering, great smelling, and slick. A weeper there. Well, that's about all for today. Guys, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you on the big shave. Many happy shaves, gentlemen and lady.